Hi there, students. To pose. A pose. Okay, to pose is related to the verb to put. Let's see. The first meaning for pose is to hold a position for the camera or for an artist who's going to paint your portrait. So, you pose and somebody takes the photograph, yeah? Okay, so to pose. We also use this verb to pose, meaning to set something out in words for consideration. To pose a question, to pose a conundrum. So it's to ask something, yeah? To put something that somebody will consider. Okay, he posed this poses a very difficult question. And then we have a meaning which is similar but slightly different. To present or to constitute. So to pose a threat. That electric wire poses a threat or poses a danger to anybody walking past. The rapid expansion of our company poses a problem. Okay. Now we have one other meaning which really comes from this position you hold for the camera. To pose meaning to represent yourself falsely. So he was arrested for posing as a policeman. He posed as a doctor. So he said he was a doctor, but he wasn't actually really. And we also use this meaning of pose for the way people act. So he looks really posh, but it's only a pose. Okay, it's only a position he holds so that it appears real, but it's not. And you even have a poser or a poser. Somebody who jumps on the bandwagon of a movement or something that's popular to appear to be really part of that so that they are well seen socially. So yes, there are many people who go to a demonstration, but I think some of them are posers. They go to the demonstration because they want their friends to see them there and see that they are propounding this attitude, this cause, but they don't really support it. So he's just posing, yeah? He says that he's really rich, but it's just a pose and he doesn't actually have any money. He says that he's in support of the workers, but it's just a pose. You see when there's a strike and he goes to work, he'll be a blackleg. Okay? Now, there's one more meaning, but this is really old and very unusual. To puzzle or to confuse. Yeah? This is not a meaning I think I would normally use. Okay? So, pose. Okay, now your next question. What about formality? Well, first of all, it's a regular verb. Pose, posed, posed. He posed his question. In formality, for example, to pose a question, I think this is slightly formal, maybe 6 out of 10. Although I think you could use it in an informal conversation with no problems. But it tends more towards the formal side. To pose a threat, to pose a danger, again, slightly more on the formal side, say 6 out of 10. Yeah, so it's a little bit more formal, but again valid in an informal context. Would you pose for the camera? I think this use of pose is completely neutral, and you can use it anywhere, so it's nice and flexible. And then this a poser pretending to be someone you're not. Well, if you are falsely posing in public as a policeman or as a doctor or as a member of parliament, I think this the slightly formal side again. But if we're talking about an attitude so that socially you are well seen, then I think that's slightly informal. Okay? He's just posing. He's such a poser. I think more formally maybe a charlatan or somebody pretending to be what they're not. Okay? So, let's go through pose again. Pose for the camera. Click. To pose for a portrait. You could pose a question. This brings up a question. To present or to constitute, to pose a threat or a danger. This poses a problem for us. To pose, to pretend, to show publicly with the uniform and everything that you have qualifications or a job that you don't have. And then finally, a poser takes a position as a pose so that he's well seen, so that his friends say, yeah, good man, good man, good man. And remember, a regular verb. Okay? So, to pose. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Pose.